Trey Young exiting the arena. The only man in the hallway. This game comes to an end. And if this is indeed it, one of the most remarkable chapters in Hawks history will come to an end.
It was memorable. It was remarkable. Just didn't yield a championship sustained run of consistency. Trae Young traded to the Washington Wizards. We say goodbye to him.
Private matter needs to stay private.
We say hello to CJ McCollum and Kelly Crull, who will now be Atlanta Hawks. And now the next versions of the Hawks and the next version of Trae Young get underway. It's the Locker Room on the Fan, 680 93.7 FM, 6 o'clock hours, brought to you by Right From the Heart. Sign up and receive daily devotionals by email at rightfromtheheart.org. So it's the fourth quarter, and the news starts buzzing in the arena. Shams Charania makes the report official that Trae Young was going to be traded 8 years into his career. Interesting, this time of year is well ahead of the trade deadline, so you don't have to make any last-minute moves where you're shuffling and might have to take a deal you don't really want to take. And so you look back on it, they've tried multiple times with multiple people to fix this, and it hasn't gotten to where management or ownership wants it to be.
Yeah, no doubt. He's only played 10 games this season, averaging 19 and 9. Jalen Johnson looks like the babe, the boy, coming out. So let's just kind of give it a minute, obviously, through the rest of this season, see where it lands. You got the pick from New Orleans coming up. The Wizards have, I think, over $90 million in cap space. 40 some of that will go to Trey Young, apparently, with his player option for next year. So I don't know much about this Kispert character, Johnny. So we'll see what he's done. In 19 games this season, he's averaging 9 points and shooting 39% from three-point land.
Former first-rounder, right, Johnny?
Yeah, he was a former first-rounder, I believe, out of Gonzaga.
Yes.
Could shoot it. I mean, he could definitely shoot it at Gonzaga, but he's going to be a role player, bench player, come off the bench, knock down a couple of threes, which is fine. C.J. McCollum, they got him just for expiring contract is all that was. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if, not that they're going to cut him, but he's not going to last after this year. It'll be finish out the year maybe with C.J. McCollum. And he's a veteran that when he was at his best was a 20-plus point a game scorer. Like C.J. was a hooper. It's just he's old now, and that's what old people do when their basketball career is coming towards an end. They end up being traded as expiring contracts.
I mean, he's still a good player. He apparently, John, wants to stay. That maybe there's a way that they restructure naturally and keep him around. I guess that's the rumors are that he'd like to be around. And then Kispert's here for 2 years. That deal is 2 years and a player option. He's Kispert, that is, he's shooting nearly 40% from behind the arc. So they've got someone, as Johnny mentioned, coming off the bench there that can knock it down. I will say this. You're not going to get much more defensively from McCollum than you did from Trey Young.
34 years old. What do you want to do?
You aren't getting much on that end. But he I do think will be serviceable for them in that I'm guessing starting rotation out there, John, with Nah, to be honest, at this point. They did get a couple guys, in other words, that I think they feel like are serviceable through this stretch in this year to still making the playoffs.
I don't believe the reports that he wanted to go to Washington. I'm believing that's kind of...
Oh, Trey?
Yeah. He wants to play with another star.
I think he wanted the best situation.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play the next 4 or 5 years in Washington with a young team. He wants to play with another star, have a chance to win a title, have some help, whether he's the number one or number two. So I think that was just some positive PR from his staff on the way out to make sure that he didn't come across as a malcontent. There's no way he wants to start a second career with Alex Sarr and what they're trying to build up in Washington long term. I don't believe that for 1 second.
If that's the case, then, to a degree, right, we kind of have to tip our cap to both parties here because usually when this stuff happens in the middle of the year with a player of the degree and caliber that Trey is, this gets ugly. Like, it gets ugly, it gets contentious. And so if they spun it to be positive like that and the Hawks are able to get things done, I know you mentioned disrespectful earlier. You felt like because what, John, they just didn't get any draft pick back or,
right.
I mean, I guess I foresaw this because of basically what we had been hearing for the last year, which was the leverage and the value of what he was what they were seeing as far as a haul back.
Yeah, and I just looked like all the mock trades. Almost every one of them had returning some type of draft capital. Now, it may have been a 2031 first-round pick, or it may have been a heavy protected, lottery protected, top 20 protected pick. Doesn't matter. We got no capital back. I mean, it's Trae Young. You didn't trade away, Onyeka Okongwu, and no disrespect to Onyeka, but you're not expecting to get a lot back from him.
So that's your hang-up. You didn't get any draft capital.
Yeah, because right now draft capital turns into something you could use to maybe enhance a superstar to come here. If Giannis wanted out, and all of a sudden you look at Milwaukee and you go, hey, we've got 5 first-round picks instead of 4, or 3 first-round picks instead of 2. That's the type of stuff you use as just leverage to go get something. That's the only reason I'm upset. Trae's time had come and gone. We talked about it when they went 2-10 with him in the lineup. You just weren't going to keep him around any longer, but you had to get some capital. You didn't, and that just lets you know his value was not very good around the league.
No, the Spurs got 3 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray. Well, think about that. We got C.J. McCollum, and we got a role player. That's what we got.
Damn.
So his value is what it is, and you can't make somebody give you more. Here's Shams Charania, who broke the story on the why Trae Young had to leave Atlanta last night.
This deal came together. Trae Young wanted to be a Washington Wizard, and the Wizards believe that this is the next step for them in their development process. Obviously, this is a team that's been in a rebuild the last few years, but bringing in Trae Young with this young group will allow this team to continue to make strides. And Trae Young has relationships across this organization with Will Dawkins, who was one of the key members of the Oklahoma City Thunder front office when Trae Young was a star player growing up in Oklahoma. Travis Schlenk, an executive in D.C., he actually drafted Trae Young in 2018 with the number 5 overall pick. And so Trae Young is now the face of the Wizards movement. He's going to be their lead guard, their point guard moving forward. He's going to anchor their young talent.
So you go from Luka Doncic to Trae Young on draft night, and then 8 years later from Trae Young to 34-year-old C.J. McCollum. That's the evolution after nearly a decade. Here's Shams Charania talking about what it means for the Atlanta Hawks now that their all-time assist leader is now in Washington.
For the Hawks is they're turning the page on the Trae Young era. 7+ seasons Trae Young spent in Atlanta as the face of that organization. But they've clearly turned the page with Jalen Johnson moving forward. And this is a group that's starting to play more toward their depth, their wings. And they believe C.J. McCollum as a shooter is going to be the perfect veteran player as a plug-and-play starter, reserve player for Quinn Snyder.
So you talk about the pieces. It's Jalen Johnson's team. If he's the lead dog now, he is the face on the marquee, and you just have to move forward. But we had a lot of good times, John Michaels. Playoff appearances. Yeah. Sometimes they were playing tournaments, all-star games, logo threes. We had different incarnations of the Hawks with John Collins and DeJounte Murray, and we had some moments of frustration, but we also had some buzzer beaters and some folks from New York booing and cussing out Trae Young, even if they were at Yankee games. So all in all, it was an experience, and now we turn the page.
That'll be the best part. The Eastern Conference Finals run was awesome. I mean, that was just much needed and everything that the city of Atlanta wanted basketball-wise. But the disrespect to New York City and the Knicks franchise, Trae Young will ever hold a special place in my heart because those Knicks fans, we're going to put your Jeremy Lin jerseys on and shut up. You guys haven't won a damn thing either.